way, come alive. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, and coming at you today with Omi as my homie, number 66. I titled the card wrong. Stacker Omi drop speculation with my co-hosts Crypto Rain and the Doctor of Stuff. How are you doing today, gentlemen?
Fantastic.
I love all the people that are here. Abe, first one here, except for the other three gentlemen that are above you, but I will give you that.
He was the first one there on my channel.
Nice. What's up, Kuma? How's it? Kuma, I'll see you into next weekend. All right, we've got some stuff to get to today. Brief overview. The Stacker Omi drop speculation, where David and Dan are right now, and we have a lot of stuff popping off here on crypto, especially Ethereum, which I'm a-okay with. A lot of stuff is going on. I think Moonbirds are at like a $13,000 floor, and the VV NFTs have stayed kind of steady. What are your guys' thoughts on just the week in general from crypto from last Tuesday to this Tuesday?
ETH running is usually a precursor to the altcoin rally, which may mean that it's ready.
I mean, yeah, I'm with Rain. Not like ETH running. I don't think like ETH is running, right? It hasn't hit its previous all-time high. I think that it's still got to hit that and then go well beyond that before I start saying, hey, like I think altcoin season is coming, right? And what's been interesting though is typically like, well, last cycle NFTs didn't run into like ETH was at its all-time high before these NFTs started running. So it'll be really interesting because we have, like you said, Moonbirds, right? 13K floor, but ETH hasn't started running yet. Like I mean, it definitely has, but it's not past its all-time high, that's what I would say. Now it's running. Right? And so it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the NFT space as ETH passes its all-time high, and then these floors move up, and then what happens with VV NFTs. But this week I definitely felt like a lot more. Like it's interesting when I jump onto crypto Twitter. I feel like you kind of you can sense what people's sentiment is. And I feel like this week it's been a lot more bullish sentiment just in general in the space, and then we started to see some prices kind of go up. Bitcoin almost hit its previous all-time high, got pretty close. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Bitcoin dominance is falling, and I think it peaked out already. So it hit a almost 66% dominance just like a month or so back, I guess June, so 2 months back, and it's fallen down to 60%. I think the high of its dominance was there. Now, what's funny is historically, as Bitcoin's price falls in dominance, that doesn't mean Bitcoin's price is falling. And I expect Bitcoin's price is going to continue to climb. I just think more money is going to start going to ETH and some of the other altcoins. And so, like Doc said, watch for ETH to break previous highs. It's not far away from that. Now, it probably is going to play around at that level, like hit it and come back down a little bit. But watch for it to break solidly above that, and that may signal the altcoin rally. A lot of what we do in crypto is patience, because we're just playing the odds here. We're just taking risks. And so a lot of people say, Rain, tell me when this is going to happen. It's like, I don't know. Other than the likelihood that we have an altcoin season is really, really high. Even though some people are saying it's not, it is really, really high. And just patiently waiting for that to play out.
I wish I would have, I guess it's good that I didn't do this. I wish I would have taken like a screenshot of all the people that had said, guys, NFTs aren't coming back. Like they're dead. It's one cycle. But I mean, part of me is happy that I didn't do that, because it's like, what does that prove? I mean, it proves that they're wrong and they shouldn't really be listened to, or at least, hey, they don't have a perfect track history and people are. Raxel, hi.
Hola.
Hey,
How are
Tao.
you? What did
We're
he
doing
say?
good. We're chilling. We're getting this bread. Talking
How's
about
your
the
cut
macro.
back?
It's better now that I've done the inverter. I did it every day, multiple times a day, up until last week when I had a wedding to go to in New York. Back was pretty okay for that, and now I'm back on it, back on the diet, back on the no drinking, back on the trying to get a little healthy. What about yourself?
Are you sure that's what the 2 fist bumping means? I thought it meant something else.
That's very healthy, though.
Yes, that is healthy.
Multiple reasons, but yeah, well,
Both are healthy.
ready to get this bread. Ready to gentleman does not entail. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I went to a what was he, the rolfer guy? I was having I felt like my glutes and my hands were like pulling away from each other. And it was just from like all my workouts, but
Mm.
I couldn't walk. And like he 2 sessions was like, but it hurt. He's like pushing on, what is it called? The psoas.
Yeah.
And he wants you to like lift up your knee. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. But then by the end of it, you're like, your knees like all over the place. You're like, how in the world? But yeah, it was really good. You might benefit from that.
I'm gonna go give a bunch of things a shot. Feeling better, so I'm feeling, yeah, I'll get it. We'll do it.
You know
We'll
what
get out to
happens
you
though
guys.
is when you start to feel better and then you're like, I don't need any of that. And then you go do some stupid crap and then you're like injured again.
Kind of did that this weekend on the dance floor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. I'm like, I can go totally run like 12 miles. It'll be fine.
I can't wait to start. I can't wait. Jump rope, run, hit the heavy bag. Oh my God, I'm gonna get so freaking hot. I cannot wait. Little vain of me.
I've never felt that way about jump rope, like ever.
Oh, I love it. I love that shit.
She really likes hitting the heavy bag though.
Same thing.
I like to run. And
I do too, but my back and my hips can only do it for so long. So I could run like pretty fast in like a half hour, but after that it gets.
Oh, jeez, that's pretty good running for a half hour.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't go that many miles.
Like, I don't know. We usually just do the 3, but we did like 7.5 miles. And I was like, I totally could have run a half mile in the time we walked to this thing, but I could have.
Nice.
She likes running.
Yeah. I'll totally go when I get back into shape. I'll totally go running with you. I will not be doing 12 miles. I can do a few, but that's about it.
I have a half coming up in September.
You're welcome to join her.
That is all you. I could not. I mean, my muscles can do it. My wind can do it. It's just the joints of the hips and the back. It just is not able to.
This one's all downhill, but I've done it for like 3 or 4 years in a row now, and it's nice.
Wait, like actually like running downhill?
Most of it, yeah.
Oh, I do not like that.
Oh, I do, because I can just fly past people. I'm like, so long, sucker. Like I just like passing everyone. It's awesome. It like does something for my ego.
I wonder if anyone ever does that with like Heelys, the little like wheels that were in like your shoe, and then they just like get the best time ever.
I feel like only you might think of something like that.
Probably.
So we're going to bring Raxel back on track for our crypto show rather than running extravaganza show.
He told me to come say hi. That's what I like to talk about.
Oh, yes, of course.
I brought food, though.
Yes.
And you're coming to Vegas, right?
I'm coming to Vegas, yeah. I just need the dates from all of you so I can put it in my planner.
I can't wait for I'm bringing some friends to Vegas, and I can't wait for all of y'all to meet them.
Designer Con is when?
We missed you in San Diego.
I know, I fudged up. Designer Con is on the 14th to the 16th of November. I might get there the 13th and leave the 17th.
The 13th through the 17th?
Mm-hmm.
14th through the 17th. Technically, he's going to be there on the 13th.
He's going early.
Well, it's 14th through the 16th. But I'm going to get there 13th and leave the 17th. I assume, because I mean, if we're getting this, we're getting a bar of gold per logo, which complete speculation. I have no idea. We might not get anything. We'll get something. They said
it's
something.
It's not going to be a bar of gold.
You had me at bar of gold.
He did not say the size in which it needed to be, so it could be a tiny bar of gold. It could be like a.
There we go.
Sorry, I'm not tiny.
I would, dude. I would totally if it was big enough, I would be like, you know what, take this tooth out and just replace it with just a gold tooth.
I would not do that. Anyways, good to see everybody.
Thank you, baby.
Of course.
Love
Bye.
you more.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you.
See you November.
Yes, maybe sooner. Dr. Stuff, when we be moving? Well, soon. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Ethereum kind of running. And I know we have different versions of running. Going from April, and ETH has done like a 3.5, almost a 4x. You know, we're down like $1,200, I think, at one point. And
ETH was at $900
in April? No, it wasn't.
Oh, not in April. Sorry, I thought like yeah, not in April.
Oh, but yeah, last time it went nuts. Went down like crazy. So I mean, for me, it kind of ran here, and obviously, Bitcoin is so much higher than its previous all-time high of 69,000. I think it depends on really what Bitcoin does. Conservatively, I think end of the year 175, 200, but there are a lot of people that are just like, 250, 300, like Josh Mandel says 444,000. And I usually like to do a bit under what people say. Like when people are saying, ETH to 10,000, I was like, okay, 7 to 9K makes sense. But now a lot of people are saying like ETH 15K to 20K. I'm like, all right, maybe we can get to 10 or 12. I don't know. Obviously with that, depending on super cycle or not, depending on how long we have in this bull market. Kathy Wood says a year. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi telling Qui-Gon Jinn in episode 1, we could be stuck here a very long time. Like some of these prices could be down here a long time if Bitcoin and ETH don't have their blow off top until next year. I mean, a lot of people are expecting it in Q4 this year, which that would be great because then I get to have that sooner. But if it doesn't and it keeps going, that I don't know, it gets kind of crazy.
I mean, listen, I can be patient. I've been patient for freaking 4 years already with all this stuff, right? Like the higher the Bitcoin and ETH go, in my opinion, the bigger the altcoin boom will be. So, man, I would love it to stay lower longer. You know, had some significant major expenses this year.
Yeah,
not expecting that sucked. And so was not able to pack my bags near as much as I would have liked to. So if I have a little bit more time, now that those expenses for the most part are behind me, I would love it. So, I mean, listen, I've got good bags, but would love to stack more.
of course,
So.
as we all would. So one of the things that, I mean, my goal is still, a billion Omi, maybe multiple billions, depending on how much, how much other funds I can get from other deals or other stuff going up, how long it stays down here for. Already, I think Omi was punished a bit more than the collectibles were, and then some of the collectibles started running. And granted, they're super important pieces. It's Todd Batman, it's partner statue, Spider-Man, etc. Gold logo. And I had a spirited debate on the gold logo this morning with some people, and we'll get to that later. How much greater can that deficit get between how much Omi token was punished and how much the VV collectibles were punished? Because some of the VV collectibles started rising. Omi has not yet. If anything, it's actually gone down. And we've had insanely bullish news. Like we're on Binance Web3 wallet. Now we're on Robinhood wallet, their version of the web wallet. And, it hasn't really stuck. I mean, you have a little more volume today. We're at like 2 million, but there's some days where we have like 800,000 in volume, and a decent amount of that is market makers. So like we don't know what the catalyst is going to be. Like what is it going to take? Like, I feel like we're doing everything right. You have the community that's now more bullish than it has been in years. You have it showing on CoinMarketCap as bullish comments all the time. Same thing on CoinGecko. What is it going to take for the Omi token to actually move? Because collectibles are moving, the space is moving, all of this stuff is going really well, but the token yet remains down. What is it going to take?
think it's going to take some. I mean, when we say bullish news, let's be clear. Like it's great. Like the Binance Wallet, awesome, love that, right? Coinbase, you can't buy Omi on Coinbase, the Coinbase app yet. It's coming soon, right? Like I would think within the next month it's going to be here, and so that access will be great, right? But there's got to be a reason for people to purchase Omi. So, like that's it, and part of that is the narrative. I think when the narrative freaking hits, man. But like in the meantime, we see these pumps and people get all excited and then it drops back down and people are like, why? You know why? Because there are traders who hold Omi and they see this and so they wait for these pumps and then they just sell into that pump and then it drops back down and then they buy back and they continue to do that. Like there's some significant whales that are doing that. And so that drastically impacts the price when there's not a lot of liquidity, which, my understanding is that liquidity pool has not been increased substantially yet. We're told that it's going to, but it hasn't. And so with that comes that price, those price swings. And what's going to need to happen, right, is there's going to need to be bullish, something bullish that creates a pump initially that those traders sell into, right? But then it doesn't go back down. And then all of a sudden, those traders are like, and they're stuck, right? So they either got to buy at a higher price if they want to try to continue to do that, or they get washed out. They're just washed out, and they're like, I'm going to move on to something else because now the price has pumped significantly, and they're like, this is too risky. Those are the traders who are just looking to trade in these ranges. You know what I mean? And again, there's a decent amount of money that's trading in there with that. So. I think that there's going to need to be some bullish news. Let's see, someone's talking about like Stephen Duarte, right? Like I agree. Like this announcement that was made in June. What is happening? What's happening with that? And the latest I heard is in Spaces is now they're just like there was something holding it up. There's now no longer anything holding it up, and they're waiting for the right time. Like what does that even mean?
There is definitely one thing still holding it up.
I'm pretty sure I heard in Spaces that David said that whatever that one thing is no longer there. You and I can talk offline.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So Steven's not wrong in that most of the crypto community still isn't really focused on Omi. And until something bigger happens there where all of a sudden a bunch of people are like, oh my gosh, Omi, it's not really going to pump. And some people take that to mean that Omi's never going to pump. Vivi has a cool enough offering with their digital collectibles that celebrities are going to start flexing these at some point. And Omi, this digital collectibles narrative is a solid narrative within the crypto space. When I think about crypto and what I want to invest in, I want to invest in things that have a good narrative. Like what does cryptographical encryption and blockchain bring to the table for the space that supposedly this company's in? Well, you couldn't really have verified, authenticated digital collectibles prior to blockchain and cryptographical encryption combined, giving you legitimate collectibles that are legitimate in a marketplace where you can buy and trade these, knowing that you're getting the legitimate thing. So it makes digital collectibles viable. And these augmented reality digital collectibles are incredible with major brands that major celebrities could get behind on their own because their kids are playing with them. And I think that's exactly what happens. When is that going to happen? When the whole world wakes up to the Web3 revolution of like crypto, oh my gosh. And then they find this thing and then they start talking about Vivi. And then Vivi collectibles start to go crazy and Omi's token starts to go crazy. Prior to that, it could run sooner. I mean, Omi on Coinbase would be a bigger deal. But at the end of the day, it's really when this narrative hits traction that it's going to go crazy. And at some point, that does happen.
In the last bull run, I guess it was actually the beginning of this bear run or bear market that we had. I had a vision of one of the Kardashians, like it was being on the show where they were like, oh my God, like I couldn't get this drop. Oh my God, did you get the drop? Like, and they were talking about the VV drop. And so I think
that'd be nuts, bro.
So it was on like their, I don't know if Keeping Up with Kardashians is still a thing. I don't know if they're still doing that.
Yeah.
But a few weeks ago, or like 2 weeks, whenever Ozzy died, I every night I would watch like a couple of minutes or of the Ozzy Osbourne show from the 2000s. And it was one of the episodes like Ozzy like having too much like artwork, having too much like whatever. It's like, oh, it's years of drugs and British on top of that. You can barely understand him, but it's just he felt like he was burdened by all of his possessions. And I was like, this is why this is probably what that vision was trying to show. Like, you have so much people with so much money that they buy houses specifically for their artwork, and you don't need to do that with one of ones on the digital collecting space. And I feel like that will come to fruition at some point. Justin Turner, who was on the LA Dodgers years ago, is now on, I forget what team he's on now. He went at the game-winning home run like the other day, and I was like, oh, he's got an R2D2, and I remember just from years ago he posted the R2D2 in Dodger Stadium, and I was like, I feel like that's coming back slowly but steadily. It will. So I think you're right. When Raxel was here, we mentioned the going to Vegas, and there are many people, I think, including three of us, that'll likely skip New York, that will only be going to Vegas. What are your guys' thoughts on that? And I don't know if you guys are going to New York or not. I just know I'm probably skipping.
Consider it. I'm considering it. I haven't decided to go yet.
Yeah. Don't know about it. I would like to. We'll see if I can make it work. Yeah, like I already said, there was a freaking ton of expenses that I had unexpectedly this year, and so I'm going to Vegas. Like, that's happening, but do I want to go to both? And especially there's no VV party like that. Like, listen, the reason I go to these things is for VV, and the VV parties. Like that's why. Like, I've gotten to Comic-Con's fun, man. It's not my seat. Like, it's not that it's not my seat. Like, I don't dress up like that. Like, that's just not me. But I love seeing the costumes. Freaking the Galactus that was there at San Diego Comic-Con was freaking nuts, right? Like I loved that, but not enough. That I don't love all that stuff enough for me to just to go out there and not be chilling a lot with the VV family. Now, I know that Sanjay, shout out to Sanjay, he's still putting together some banging stuff, right? And which I think will be super fun, which is why I'm still trying to see if I can make it out there. Because Sanjay's the man, and I love that. Like, his parties are awesome. So yeah, like that's kind of where I'm at. But I think that, David came on Spaces and he was saying that, they launched at a decon kind of, right, like when they first showed up, and so they want to do their 5-year and do like a big hurrah at 5 years, at this decon in Vegas. And so that's where the big thing is going to be. So I'm definitely going to Vegas, and then we'll see about New York Comic Con.
So there's a lot of this. Oh shit! There's a lot of the people that are. I wonder if Vivi's going to pull I don't want to say fast one, but when they say, "Hey, we're not going to have this party," but maybe at the booth at Comic-Con or at wherever. I mean, they didn't even have a booth in San Diego, so I don't know if they'll actually have a booth in New York either. But what if they get someone cool there? Like, I feel like all it takes is the one thing. Like, apparently San Diego was amazing, and apparently I'm sad I missed out. I wonder if there'll be someone cool at Sanjay's party, like outside of like the normal peeps we all expect, that is like, okay, we probably should have gone. Like, would it take like Johnny Depp showing up to be able to I don't know, like what's worth it? What's I guess we'll have to figure that out at some point. Omi Only Drops. He had BB viral the other day. see if I can find it. The man posts so much. The man's a godsend. I love him.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's doing the Lord's work over there. He had posted an idea for a drop. It was the only Omi drop that would be done on Stacker. Said, let's burn over 500 million Omi in one day. Omi spaceship on VV official via Stacker World. No gems, only Omi, and 100% of it gets burned. 10,000 editions for $10 worth of Omi each. 9,000 common, 950 ultra rare, 50 secret rare. I don't think this would sell out, but I do think it would set a precedent for like, hey, we are able to do this. We can do this whenever we want. And I think if they did something like this, it would look better if it did sell out. But definitely doing like at least 100 million in burns would be great. The rocket ship design, again, you can make a lot of these things with AI now. And I definitely want to go over AI and the lever in which it VV can use it with. But for right now, I'll just stick on the Omi Only Drop. What are you guys' thoughts on it? They've been talking about it for a while. I feel like this is one of those things that they talk about and doesn't happen for X amount of months or years. What are you guys' thoughts?
Fantastic idea. Especially if VV's using their own IP. What does it really cost them other than some artwork time? Right? So I love the idea.
Yeah.
I think that would absolutely go a long way for the community to see massive burns like that, right? I participate in it, but I would say this: if they're going to do it, and especially if this Coinbase thing is going to happen within like the next month, I'd probably wait for that. Because then it's so easy to freaking buy Omi and then just send it over there and to do the Omi Only drop that way, right? It would just be a lot easier for users. And, I'm going to put Foster to work here. He would have to put out an article kind of describing how to buy it on Omi, something like that real quick. And then like whatever, a video, however you want to do it, right? And to show people how easy it is to do that, right? And then to do that drop. But you better believe that I would absolutely participate in that. One, right? Like, and so like depending on how they structure it, I do think that they should structure it so that there's a good incentive, right? That there's good chasers. And I don't think that it should just be like the same collectible with different colors. That's got to stop. I hate that so much. I hate it. So like it would have to be different things, right? Like it's not going to cost that much more to do that, like you said, with AI and whatever. But yeah, I think it would be so bullish for the community to just be like, we just burned 500 million tokens in one freaking go. Are you kidding me? Right? And I don't think that they should flood that and do it like every day or whatever. But the other thing that they can start doing, and they talk about this, is bronze tickets, right? Where you've got to burn $1 worth of Omi to get these bronze tickets. And we saw that bronze ticket, that collector rank that was required. And there were people who burned their bronze tickets so that they could ensure that they got the status, the Diamond 1 or the Master status, right? Well, I guess Diamond 1 is what they had to get up to. So they could get access to that secret rare Johnny Storm?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where I think that they can really turn up the heat on this, right? Pun intended with the burns. Is they can do this Omi Only drop, and then they can do more VV drops that are rank based, at least a portion of them, or a really rare one or something like that, where people are like incentivized then to buy bronze tickets that burn Omi directly by doing that. That right there will get the ball rolling, and I think that becomes the snowball, right? As we start to see prices rise in crypto, and then because ETH is rising, NFT prices are rising, then people are looking at officially licensed IP, and then they're saying, okay, they come across VV. There's all this bullish sentiment around that, and then they're like, oh, this token where you can buy these NFTs, that's burning, it's deflationary. We're seeing all this. That just starts that snowball, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's where the hype. That is where the hype can really build.
I agree. Before I get to that, I want to bring up, you mentioned Foster putting him to work and writing an article. Here's something that Foster wrote like almost 4 years ago It is a 17-step process on how to buy Omi. It is insane that that was what we had to do. That was, oh my God. And this is what I mean, like several people brought this up. If people really want the token, like they can get it now. It's super easy. You can go on X and be like, hey, Bankerbot, buy me Omi. And it does. Which is another
pause. Let's pause on this. I saw
Yeah.
Foster talking about that, right? The Bankerbot. How does it know what wallet to send it to? How does that happen?
So somebody like years ago,
Someone sent me Omi or something like that. Like, hey, send it to Dr. Stuff. And I was like, okay, but didn't hit any of the wallet. Like, Bankerbot doesn't know my wallet. So like, what wallet did it send it to?
It gives you a wallet. Like if you don't have one, like it just gives you one on X, and then you can say like, hey, Bankerbot, what's in my wallet? And then you could say, send the contents of my wallet to this address, if it's on ETH or if it's on Base, like whatever it is. So you can have it do that.
But how do I find out? So Bankerbot gives me a wallet, but how do I find out what wallet it gave me?
Just at Bankerbot, like at Bankerbot, what's in my wallet? And then it'll show you, it'll give a thing and say, okay, here's what's in your wallet, and it'll show you all your tokens. I don't know if they're all on Base Network, or if if they're different. If there's like something on ETH and something, whatever, it'll show you. I think they're all on Base though, if I'm not mistaken. And then you can be able to say like, hey, send that to this address. While you look at that up, Jay says, the announcement even big enough to pump the token without the narrative? I don't think so. Well, the announcement is a VV announcement. Doesn't really have anything to do with Omi. So yeah, probably just gonna be big for VV for right now. Real Bravo. Yep. Everyone's loving Dr. Stuff on here today.
Hey, thanks, Sam.
Yeah, this is why one of the reasons I got out of New York, because Robinhood Wallet is great, but New Yorkers are blocked because New York sucks with so many things. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of big money is located. Oh, hey, Foster. And not the three best looking gents in all of crypto in one room. How's it hanging? Brother? So with you mentioned edition size before, and by all means, feel free to interrupt when you get Bankerbot to show you what's in your wallet. Wind the clock's back 2 weeks ago.
I tweeted it out, and it doesn't show up on my profile.
What did you tweet out?
At Bankerbot, what's in my wallet?
Oh, did you put like a dot before the at?
No.
If you just start off with an at, then it I think it goes on like your replies. Like it doesn't show. Like if I were to say like at Dr. Stuff, how's it going? Like it wouldn't show on my timeline. I don't know. Like that's always been a thing with Twitter.
Dude, I legit hadn't. I was today years old when I learned that.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Okay. How long does it take Bankerbot to respond?
I feel like sometimes it doesn't. I feel like most times it does answer people, but sometimes it just doesn't. It just I feel like I've seen it where I've seen a comment, hey, Bankerbot, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like from 3 hours ago. I was like, well, Bankerbot didn't answer that one.
Okay. Well, anyways, yep.
Okay.
We'll see if I can figure that out.
All right. So a couple weeks ago, we had Spidey 2099 made 90-ish thousand in like seconds. That was awesome. Johnny Storm, arguably more popular character. It's older, more popular. He just had a movie come out. The blind box, excluding the crafts, the blind box was much the same, where it had a common, a special, a secret rare. But unlike the Spidey 2099, where that's where it ended, and you had like an 11-12% chance to get something that you would make money on, it added a rare, and it had 800 editions, and now you only had you had less than a 10% chance of making money, and instead of grossing 90,000 in seconds, it grossed 30-ish thousand in like several days. So the one factor that was different there is that, okay, you added 800 something collectibles of a rarity that generally people don't really want. They don't really get excited. They actually maybe get a little sad that they get that rarity. And I would think like, okay, the next one, like they tried, they sold out this one. Let's add a couple more editions. Like I respect the hustle and trying to see if it works or it doesn't work. Didn't work. And then for Buzz Lightyear that they just announced, not only did they keep the rare, but they added another 1,400 editions of an uncommon, something that's typically like the butt end of like nobody wants that. And it would be okay if it's like if it was a first appearance, I could understand that. But it's Buzz Lightyear's like third collectible coming out on here. They clearly had less success with Johnny Storm than they did with Spidey 2099, despite being a bigger character. And they took what was bad with that drop and they made it worse by adding another uncommon. And I know that there are weeks where they change the size edition of a drop a couple days before it happens. So there's no way these editions were made like 3 months ago. I think this is a horrible decision. I think they should definitely change that. I don't care that the uncommon is animated. I don't care that the uncommon through the secret rare is animated. Don't get me wrong. These look awesome. These look super clean. That chase is going to be worth several hundred, if not over $1,000 because of how amazing glow in the dark looks. But I feel like why do they do this? Why do they do these things?
I don't know. I don't know, right? They talked about scarcity and like this. I don't understand this either, right? Because we got the comics and they're like, hey, we're gonna have this mini comics, and then whatever doesn't get bought within a month gets burned. Why aren't they doing that with the collectibles? That would make those way more scarce, right? And then what could happen, right, is initially maybe you get the rare, but there's not a lot of people who buy off the drop, right? And then they forget about it and it gets burned. And all of a sudden, there's not a lot of rares out there anymore. Like everything becomes way more scarce, right? And then when that happens, you get more trading volume on the secondary market, right? Because then people are like, "Whoa, these are more rare than I initially expected. Now I want the whole set, so I'm going to go out and buy it." So then Vivi gets more money from that. So like I think that would be a great way to implement it. And like we heard I've heard all this stuff like where it's like, hey, we want new users to be able to come in and there'd be stuff like in the store. And I'm like, they're not going to go to the store. They're going to go to the secondary market because it's cheaper in the secondary market than in the store. So they're not going to go to the store. So like, why not just burn stuff that's in the store? Because I mean, now listen, like once that happens, the stuff in the secondary market will go up. But what that will do is bring in more users. Because then people will say, hey, some of my stuff actually does appreciate and it's not worth less than the drop. You know, Big A talks about this all the time. And it's true. Like, and we've talked about it too. You want users in, they've got to see that there is real value here. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to do that when you have significant drops or a significant amount of supply of a drop at a higher price point. So that unless you're lucky enough to get the secret rare, which you guys saw my post, man. I just like I'm a degenerate, right? Like, and I was going after like I can't remember, but I think I'd have to go back and count the numbers. But like I went after several comic drops where I just went ape, did not get a single secret rare like out of like 90 comics or something like that. Like just insane, right? And I was just like, you know what, man? Like I will own it, right? But like, I can't understand why my luck is so much better on candy, so much like, and everyone I see, it's so much better on candy than it is on Vivi. I still don't get that, man, and I don't understand how there are certain accounts that I look at. I'm like, you hit another SR. How many freaking SRs have you hit? Like that doesn't seem random to me. Like, and maybe it is, right? Like, but I don't know. When I add all of those things together, it gets to be a very frustrating experience at times. And so if you can limit the number of editions or you're going to burn, because I also like this. I like one of the concerns with burning is that if some of those special mints don't get minted, they get burned, they're gone forever, right? So, for example, with the Fantastic Four, and there was 4,444. There's 4 Fantastic Four. That's an awesome mint number. You don't want that to get burned, right? But what Vivi can do is just to say, listen, if for whatever reason after this market, after the 30 days, we will pick some special mints that we will then use as giveaways to make sure that those don't ever get burned, right? That they're still in circulation. Doing something like that, man. That again, like what it does is it brings value to the community who's still there through giveaways and all that stuff. And the more bullish sentiment you get, the better the chances are that your collectibles are appreciating in value instead of immediately depreciating and then not ever appreciating again. The higher chance you're going to get users in. And that's what happened last cycle is that I told, you know how many people I onboarded? I onboarded so many people. And what I said is, listen, it's crazy. If you're able to land a drop, you're going to be able to sell it for more than you bought it for. It was the easiest sell ever, except for Crypto Cosmo. It took him like 4 months for me to talk him into that. But anyways, I don't know. Anyways, that's my soapbox. I'm done.
Ryan, what are your thoughts?
So Dr. Stephan's hitting on it that people get really excited and massive number of people come onto VV when the drops sell for more later. So they're doing some of the wrong things to really create that type of scenario. Now, it's going to happen either way, but there are some things that VV can do that will augment that. And having a burn if things don't sell is a good way because scarcity is part of what determines value. So if you have a really bad unpopular drop and only 200 of them sell and then the rest get burned, you just made something that was a total dud become potentially a winner because of scarcity. So I like that they do that on the comics. Do it on the collectibles too.
I was out there for a second. I was on the mute. All right, going back to Stacker has been awesome. Thank you, Foster, for showing the stream some love. David is currently on a trip right now to some conference with Dan. Forget which one that is, but he's a little bit busy. Kumo says M'Baku. Bill Gardner says forever. Yeah, I heard a lot of stuff on base is killing it. Agreed, smart buy. We should get some. All right, there was a question from Turtle Golf, and I'm gonna try to find it because he was wondering for today. He mentioned it this morning. This exciting show. Where's the link to Turtle? Can you message me that question because I'm fucked up over here. If you can get me that'd be great. Another question though did come from Mr. MC1, and I think I have that at the ready. He goes over and he says, one question: do you think people are loading up on Omi, waiting for Omi Only Drop to get announced with the intent of then hoping for a price increase and the opportunity to sell to those that have not picked up or enough Omi? Do you think there'll be any short-term movement in Omi due to that announcement, or is it likely to be small incremental demand due to the short-term with low price impact? Do you see a long-term price impact for that type of drop if done regularly? For me, I don't think one drop enough is really enough to move the needle. I would say if it's done in conjunction with, like Doc said, waiting for that Coinbase announcement, maybe it can do that a little bit. And what Doc said before, there needs to be enough buying pressure for the swing traders to trade it, sell it, and then it not go back down, but keep going back up. Short-term movement, I think it'll continue trading between 0.0018 and 0.002-ish. Long-term price impact, every little bit helps. Like when you're working out and trying to get big muscles, okay, protein helps, working out helps, diet helps, sleep helps, BCAAs help, fish oil helps. They all help a little bit. It's usually not any one thing that goes crazy. So those would be my answers. Let me know. Okay. Range, you want to have any last thoughts on that or not?
Well, yeah, I got to run, but my favorite subject is Omi's price, right? So one of the reasons I'm here because I believe that Vivi is doing something special, which gives me a strong likelihood that the token associated with them is going to have a massive blow up in the coming bull run. And so Vivi continues to do something special with their digital collectibles. Now, when is the Omi token going to run? I don't know. Last cycle, it was really interesting. Comi's token took off when NFL All Day started to run, and people were focused on those type of collectibles. Omi went crazy too at that same time that Flow went crazy. And the collectibles didn't run till later. So I don't know if it's going to be disjointed again this time or if they're going to run at the same time. I'm leaning towards they're going to run at the same time. That people start to look at Vivi and then they start to look at the token associated with it. When is it going to happen? Well, let's watch and see when ETH breaks his previous high to see when the momentum starts to swing into the altcoins. And it may be later in the bull run, and Omi might be one of the early ones to run. It might be one of the later ones. I just took huge bets on Omi, and I'm waiting to see how it plays out because I don't know exactly when that's going to happen. Like, it's bouncing around at prices that are amazing, incredible prices for those that like to buy low. And it's been here way too long. Okay. I mean, that's a good and bad thing. It's a good thing because lots of people can stack lots of Omi for really cheap. It's a bad thing because some people get impatient and they get tired of waiting and they'll probably regret it later. We'll see y'all. I got a jet.
Thanks, Ryan.
Rain,
Good seeing you,
the man.
Appreciate
Good
it,
to
buddy.
see you, as always.
Let me know on that other thing, and then we'll I'll be free. All right, love you. Bye. I love that man. Doc, I feel there were 3 kind of big questions there. Do you remember me to read them again? I would not have remembered any of them.
So there was the Omi, like, are people waiting they're stacking Omi? Yeah, read it again.
Yeah. Do you think people are loading up on Omi, waiting for the Omi Only Drop to get announced with the intent of just short-term flipping? Do you think there will be any short-term movement in Omi due to that announcement, or is it likely to be a small incremental demand in short-term with low price impact? And do you see a long-term price impact from doing that type of drop if done regularly?
So I do think that there are the swing traders who are stacking some Omi, right, waiting for these type of announcements and drops. Like, and they've been doing that the whole time, right? And so do I think that the Omi Only Drop will have a massive impact on price? No, I don't think it will. I don't think that there's enough there. Like, but longer term, if they're doing it regularly, and when I say regularly, like I don't even know, like, if once a week is the right, like maybe twice a month, something like that. Then people don't get burned out with that, and they can get excited, and that gives Vivi some time to space it out and to look at different collectibles. And I remember someone being like, "Listen, if there's another freaking logo drop, like, I'm gonna claw my eyes out," or something like that, right? Like, I was like, yeah, it would be nice. And that's why the spaceship, the rocket thing would be fun. That would be fun, right? An Omi rocket ship or something. It's just like a collectible. And yeah, something like that would be a lot of fun. And I would definitely go for that. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Stacker. Do I necessarily want a Stacker logo? I would rather have a rocket. And I would probably pay more for rocket than a Stacker logo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would I take a Stacker logo? Sure. But but that's the thing. Like, that feels lazy. That feels lazy. Do something different. Right? Like, let's kind of shake things up. So I love that rocket. And so I do think that short term, there are people who are going to be buying Omi just for that announcement so they can sell into that excitement. Because I do think that there will be like a little bit of a pump. But do I think it'll be big? I don't think it'll be big. But the longer term impact, if they continue to do that, combined with the bronze tickets, combined with fun, exciting drops with the right edition sizes at the right price, where collector ranks are required, right? Because listen, it doesn't have to be Diamond 1. It can be it can be a lower rank. But if it's something that's desirable, then people are like, well, like, I'm gonna buy. Because look, how many people were at the level where they could buy, they had enough bronze tickets where they could burn it and hit Diamond 1? Probably not a lot. But maybe if they were like, hey, let's hit this lower tier, and we know that there's a ton of people under here, and they can all buy it, but the risk is that you burn the Omi, and yes, you get the rank, but like you're not one of the ones who landed, right? But at least you got that opportunity to get something like that. But the only way to get that opportunity is to have that rank, and if you don't have that rank through just your stacks or your sets and stuff like that, then you can purchase bronze tickets to do that. You start doing those things, all of those things combined, and absolutely longer term, that'll have a substantial impact on the price. That will create a bullish narrative, and the sentiment will be much higher in general. That's my thought.
Agreed. It burns for Blackpink, and the girls are killing it on their tour. I don't know if those two things are related, but heck yeah, girl.
Hey, can I shout out Aaron or Kaki Gaijin or first of all, your art is awesome. I'm still a little butthurt that like I've never been, like in any of your drawings, but whatever. I'm not salty, but I'm totally salty. But no, like I just like the content, and it's fun to just a great member of the community, man. He doesn't take crap from anyone. He dishes it out if it gets dealt to him. I love it. So,
yeah, I love that dude. He's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Dead Rat was saying fundamentals are great. Nakomi is lacking a great marketer. Agreed. They have so much more of these. Technicalities are nice, but they need to create buzz. Feels very lethargic, and it does not feel incestuous, but it definitely does feel lethargic. I understand. I don't know where it came from, but
I'm not getting the incestuous part there. Maybe I don't want you to explain that to me.
I'm not either.
I'll just leave it at that.
2-digit Namor on. I mean, what is it? I mean, I know Namor is. Let's take a look here. Well, I'm taking a look at this. We were talking about. You mentioned before. Hey, what is it going to cost VV to do these? To do these like a rocket ship drop? It would just cost a person to do the art. How long is that going to take with ChatGPT now? Like ChatGPT 5, Rockport, like 6 minutes to do 3 designs. Hey, give me 3 designs of a rocket ship with the Omi logo on it. That's it. Like it's going to be awesome anyway. Like again, you might have to tweak it to whatever, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on really integrating AI in with VV and Nakomi with that? So much so that it could either take away some jobs, it could save them a lot of money, really cut down on software as a service. I feel like any of these SaaS companies, that's why a lot of them gone down. A buddy of mine I ran into this weekend made a fudge ton of money shorting them because now you don't need it. You just have ChatGPT do it all. What are your thoughts on inculcating it into the VV and Nakomi ecosystem?
So I think for like Omi specific IP or VV specific IP, I think it's great, right? Like there's too much, at least with the large IP, like they're not going to sign off on freaking like AI generated stuff. They want artists, like they want, but like for VV and like I wouldn't mind. There is some amazing AI art out there that people have even generated about Omi and VV stuff that I'm like, that's super cool. So if that can save them money, because obviously like if it's an only drop, they're not making any money from that, or if they are, it's very minimal, right? And so to cut down on costs, if they want to incorporate AI into that to help build out that model, absolutely. I don't think anyone is going to be like, well, that wasn't done by a real person, so like it's not worth anything. It's just like, no, if it looks awesome, it freaking looks awesome. Bottom line. So I absolutely think they should use AI if that's going to save them a lot of time and money to do that. And then it makes it a lot easier to do like more regular drops twice a month. Yeah, that's my thought.
Agreed, sir. So there's something that I think VV should do. You mentioned that you would, before I get to this, you mentioned you would take a rocket ship or rocket ships over a logo. Why?
Because I have too many logos. I'm sick of logos.
If there was, if it was, so it had nothing to do with like blue sky valuation. It had nothing to do with how awesome the rocket was. It just wasn't as a 4th or 5th logo.
No, I mean, I love the rocket. I love the rocket idea, right? Like, I mean, So could there be something that they say like, well, what if it was a bike? Well, I'd probably take a logo over like a bicycle. You know, and like there's certain things that I'm like, okay, I'd rather take the logo over that. But like, I'm burned out from logos, man. You know, like let's get something new. And like the rocket ship, freaking rocket ship looked cool, and get it animated or whatever like that, where it's like, you know, like taking off or whatever like that, or like one lands on the moon or something, or crashes into the moon or something like that. Like that'd be funny, man. Like you could have some real fun with this stuff if it's just like, you know, your own IP, do whatever you want with it, right? Like or maybe the secret rare is the rocket crashing into the stacker logo.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Then you can incorporate both of that. Like I would love that. I would freaking absolutely, I would want that, right?
I do feel like that in the VVverse would be not great. Just because, like, you know, there's going to be some trolls that are going to put 2 Avengers towers right next to where the stacker logo is, and they're going to have the rocket ship going into the 2 towers. Like, I know people are going to do that. Anyway, my next question.
Like, I mean, they do stuff like that anyways.
That's true.
You know, like, good point. So, yeah.
So the reason why I kind of want to get on this is because I am very petty. I'm so petty that one time somebody was just constantly on like the feed or like every piece of social media I have, just call me clown, call me trash. And that was their VV name. Their VV name was the same as what it was on YouTube or on Twitter or whatever it was. So I took a look at his profile, found out that he liked either the Marvel Mighties, and it was like number 123 or 333, like whatever it was. So I go to the market and I take a look at a bunch of these Mighties, and I think I pay like $100 for a Mighty that was clearly not worth it. And I did it because on his profile, he said, I am the master of these numbers, whatever they are. And his goal is to collect all of them. So I paid like 30x what the floor was for this mint number, just so that person will never be able to complete their collection. And I'd do it again too. And the reason why I bring this up is because
that's so good.
I think VV, Omi, Stacker have a very unique opportunity here to say like, hey, let's have these like Omi shorts. Let's get a water bottle that says haters tears or futters tears or futters crying. And like, if they could just troll that, I would pay more money for like a water bottle that says like haters tears or futters tears and just like have someone drinking it than I would for a cool looking like rocket ship. I would do that just to spite the haters. And I don't know how many people are like that. Hopefully a healthy amount of people are not like that, but I feel like they are. I feel like a couple of people are like, yeah, let's really stick it to them. What would you do? How petty are you? is that something that you would pay extra for? Be like, yeah, futters tears, or like,
dude, hold on. I'm gonna look this up. I gotta see something here. I'm not perfect. I'll just put it that way. You know, might I fall into some of that wanting to do that? Yes, I would. I want to see if I can buy a Futter's Tears drink. If someone has made something like that. Because I just wouldn't put it past someone to have made something like that. Dang. No, there's woke tears. That's funny. Liberal tears, energy drink, but tear catcher. No, I'm not seeing anything. That, man, I feel like that should be something. I think that someone like at one of these like NFT NYC like events or something like that, or like a crypto event or something, right? Just like futters tiers, because there's futters in literally every single project. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like they exist. You just got to deal with them. I to this day, I struggle, man. I struggle. Listen, I have been burned so many times in this space. I'll give you a perfect example. There's a project, I won't name it right now, but there might be a time at which like I do publicly name them, and we start to FUD them for legitimate reasons, because they're unscrupulous, man. These VC deals, some of them have just turned out to be just insane. Like this is where I think you need regulation, right? Because these people should literally be just sued into oblivion for violating so many of the contracts that they sign. It's like the contracts don't even mean anything anymore. But what had happened is we invested in this company, right? They took our money, and then right before the drop, they actually refunded several different VCs, but they did not refund our VC. And then they did the TGE, and some of the people, not me, like I did not sell my tokens, but some people did, which is their right, by the way, to sell their tokens when they get them. And so they distributed, we're supposed to get it like once a month, and they distributed for 3 months, and then they just stopped. And then they were like, oh, well, see, you were a VC and you were a group VC. And so then you distributed to all these wallets, and some of them sold. So, you violated the deal. And it's like, no, we didn't. We didn't violate the deal. It doesn't matter what we do with these like tokens once we get them. There was nothing in the contract that said that we couldn't do that, right? But now they're not giving us a freaking tokens. Like that's crazy. Where I'm going with that is, though, right, is you do not see me every day on their Twitter, in their Discord, on their Telegram, being like, you guys are pieces of crap. Oh, like this is a slow rug. Like, I don't have time for that, man. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, like, so will there be a coordinated effort at one point in time to make public that they violated the contract and that these people should not be trusted going forward? That's the type of criticism that I think is worth it, right? But it's a one-time thing, Okay. I don't get these futters, but they're everywhere. They're in every single project, because what they did is they're emotional, and they bought in and they said, I believe this is going to go up. It didn't go up. And now, because the price is not up, it's everyone else's fault except for theirs, right? They take no accountability or responsibility for their own actions. And they're just like, it's everyone else's fault. And this is victim mentality. And so it would be absolutely amazing, if I'm bringing you all back, to have at crypto events, futter tiers, bottles of water, man. I would be all about that. For $5, I'd be like, and I would take pictures with, what I mean? It would be worth it. It'd be worth it. So, Randy, maybe we need to freaking do this. Maybe we need to go to Decon and put this together, and then just sell these futter tier bottles of water for $5.
Game.
And then listen, with all of the proceeds, we could buy Omi and burn it.
Or we could burn half of it.
Or burn half of it. Fine.
I also feel like $5 is too cheap. When you get to these events and people start drinking, they go, especially if you be like, all right, $50 gets you a drink and this, and then you could put the drink in. Oh yeah, like I feel like they're like, oh yeah, utility right away. Yeah, and then you let them know that it's I feel like that could be good.
Wait a second, Doflamingo, are you for real?
Wait, what is Monero?
Monero is a privacy coin. It was like the first coin that was basically like couldn't be tracked. They kind of it was all about privacy. That's crazy.
It's only down 4%, so whatever the attack was doesn't seem to have affected it.
Hold on just a second.
Take report XM.
Okay, do you know what? Like now, I don't know if they were able to like. It depends on the 51% attack. It depends on what they were able to do in the time frame in which they had 51% of the nodes, right? It says it's purported a 51% attack from an AI protocol called Cubic, which is claiming success, but experts aren't convinced. That's probably why it's only down 4%.
Yeah.
It's because people are saying they don't believe it. Anyways, crazy. That's crazy. Huh. Put that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on their X. Like, I'm not seeing people be like, "Yo, what happened? What happened?" And
Yeah.
I feel like I would see that.
Dude, listen, I'm Jason. I like this. Randy, we gotta talk. We gotta figure out. Listen, does anyone have contacts to a distributor of water bottles where we could make these Flutter tier water bottles? And whether it's like an actual bottle of water or a water bottle that you then fill up. So it's like a permanent thing or something. Because I was thinking a bottle of water that just had the wrapper saying like Flutter's Tears, as opposed to like legit water bottle that said Flutter Tears. Yes, we would definitely be selling it for more than $5. Does anyone have contacts? Let us know. I want to make this happen. I'm close to Vegas. I could put it in my car and drive it there. It'd be amazing.
Oh yeah, let's go. 90-day. Oh shit! Sorry. All right. 90-day tariff pause on China. Dubai approves options license. It seems that a lot of the news on the macro is very positive. There's no actual deal with China yet, but continuing the 90-day pause on those tariffs, I think is really good. Right now, it seems that crypto just kind of keeps going up. Bitcoin, Ethereum, obviously we have a little bit Bitcoin dominance falling a little bit. I'm not expecting alt season right away, but I'm generally bullish, generally stoked about it. Am I getting a little too bullish? Am I saying like, well, Chavez, a lot of stuff has gone up pretty quickly. Might have to see a bit of a retrace. What are in your thoughts?
Oh, sorry. I was reading some comments. Say that again.
You have Trump giving tax breaks to American companies with a ton of I think there was 26.6 billion in tariffs collected in June, 29.6 billion in tariffs collected in July. There's a 90-day tariff pause on China because they're continuing seeing improvement on that end. Dubai approving a crypto options license. There's just a ton of bullish stuff happening in the macro. It seems like we're having a really good, couple months here. Do you see a pullback? Does this keep going for a while? I was like, nah, I'm not ready for a pullback yet.
I think a big pullback is coming. If you look historically, before like the massive run up, there's a pretty decent run up and then a really big pullback. And I say really big, like a 30% pullback.
Didn't that already happen though? From like January, we were at 109, then we went to like 74K for Bitcoin.
I don't consider that the pullback. No, like I don't. I think there's too much stuff still to happen for Bitcoin. But you're right. That was about a 30% pullback. So I could be wrong there. I don't think that's it. I think that it's going to be a bigger amount. They're going to draw more and more people in at this higher price point before it goes ballistic. Because like I said, man, like there are a lot of and listen, I can only go off the information that's been put out, right? But there are a lot of countries and cities and stuff like that that have announced that they have some sort of Bitcoin reserve that like billions and billions and billions of dollars, right? And these countries, a lot of times, they're not going to have contacts for OTC. They're going to be going to the market to do that. So I still think that Bitcoin has some room to run. And ETH with all of these like ETH treasury setups and stuff, like I still think that there's a lot more to go there. So I think that pullback is still going to happen in probably September or October. October typically is kind of like a rougher month for whatever reason. It like runs up and then October is like this pullback, and then we could see it shoot up. So we'll see. Yeah. But that's my thoughts, is that there will be a pullback, a bigger pullback.
Come to that. No Devy news as of yet. I mean, None that's official, none that I can report on as of yet. We'll keep you posted. I might get a little bit more next month. I mean, I should definitely get a little bit more next month. Moving on here for the rest of the VV stuff. The Fed does start rate cuts in September, so I feel like any type of I don't know if that's really.
That's not guaranteed. That's the talk.
It's very possible that they don't, but I feel like with like a 98% chance on Polymarket, probably going to happen. And again, could be wrong. I honestly, if anything, I'd probably take the over under on that. But if we're talking about,
keep going.
Okay, if we're talking about the rate cuts for, I guess there's a high likelihood there's going to be 2 rate cuts this year. The rest will be next year. Now, granted, I said that end of last year, like, yeah, we're going to have a lot of rate cuts, and none have happened yet, which is bananas. If there are no rate cuts in September, I would see that as a mega bearish move, because that, like, what the fuck? Then I don't know what happens. Like, I mean, there are, and Trump would probably be very good at this. I don't know how many tens of thousands or millions of laws that there are. I'm sure Jerome Powell's breaking a few of them. I feel like a lot of him not cutting rates is politically motivated, politically charged. What do you think happens if there are no rate cuts in September? Do we see like I mean, interest rates are compressing regardless of them not cutting rates, but when the rest of the world has cut rates, when you have all of these positive bullish factors on here, I think that, I don't know, I don't want to throw around the words like civil war or anything, but that type of thing is like nobody likes the guy. Like, there are a total of 0 people that respects him. He's feckless, he's incompetent, or the worst is that he is competent enough to know what he's doing. And like, there's legit a video on Pornhub where it says one guy fucks 300 million people, and it's a picture of Jerome Powell as a Fed chair. So, what do you think happens?
Definitely not civil war over 25 basis point rate guy. Okay.
When I mentioned that, I mean, like, okay, Trump uses his power to get him arrested at some point. Democrats go in and be like, okay, here's our hard line. I mean, now he's arresting.
If he uses his power to get arrested, there better be a freaking good reason for that. Like, oh my gosh, that would be so terrifying if just because he didn't cut the rates that he had him arrested. Now, if there's legitimate reasons for
it, the reasons would be different, but there was something that I screenshot before.
Well, there's some concerns, right? Like, now, I don't know if it's arrest worthy, but is it firing worthy about like the Fed building, right? Like the Federal Reserve building that's like billions of dollars and it's already like over budget. Like, where's all that money going, and he's in charge of that? Sure. Like, okay, I could see that. Now, is that politically motivated where he says, well, this is the reason, like, because you're not dropping rates, we're going to pursue this? I don't like that. But again, if his reasons are political, then like he's also shaming the position, right? Like, I mean, he's disgracing the position by doing that. Like, his whole thing is to be independent. And if the data is showing that inflation is down, that's their whole mandate, right? Is to keep inflation down. He doesn't care about the debt payments that the government has. Like, that's not the mandate of the Fed. So, anyways, that's just my thoughts on that. But like, I'm looking at Polymarket here. Fed decision in September, 25 basis point decrease, 81%. That's really high. Do I think it happens? I think more than likely it probably does happen. But it sounded like when you mentioned it that it was like going to happen, and I was like, wait, has something been confirmed? I'm not aware of that, but more than likely. Go ahead.
No, keep going. I don't know where this was, but it wasn't Polymarket then. Does CMC mean anything to you?
Does what?
CMC, not CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, isn't that CoinMarketCap?
Yeah, but it's not what I'm thinking of. There was something
Actually,
else the
Caffrey?
other day that mentioned the odds, and I can't for the life of me find where it was.
It could have been at 97% at one point, right? It changes. It changes
Yeah,
from
that's
every
true.
day, right? So it could have been at that high, and then something came out, and all of a sudden people are like, "Oh, I'm going to change that." So
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you used Polymarket? I know that US people can't, but like, I mean, you can't do VPN, I'm guessing, right? Like,
I've never used. I just look to see what the current bets are for certain things, but
yeah.
I've never like used it.
If there's anyone listening right now, and they've used Polymarket, I guess what I want to know would be interesting is, if you make the bet, can you change the bet before the date? Right? Or are you locked in? If you're just like, I'm betting $1,000, right? That the rate cuts come in. I'd be interested.
It's probably locked in. You could probably make additional bets on top of the one that you already did.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. But we shall see. So David he could not come on this week because he's actually flying to Crypto Winter 2025 event in New Zealand. He will be on stage with it's New Zealand success stories with Brian Ventura hosting David Yu from Vivi, Mike S from Immersive, Andy Higgs from Futureverse, and Paul Quickenden from Easy Crypto. So he'll be on there. I don't know if this is really that big of an event. I hope it is. I hope they get some traction there, but that seems that'll happen on the 14th. So he's flying now. That's why he could not be with us.
Well, it's great that he's speaking at a crypto event, or that he's going to those crypto events, right? Like that's important. Let's see. Oh, sorry, just real quick. I'm just seeing something.
You're good.
I'm just sending you a message real quick on
that. Okay. All good. Cool beans. There is... You have J-Dubs that said that he had bought 100 million Omi recently, bringing him up to 400 million, saying that the last 3 years was not the time to buy, but it is right now. This is just another example of whales just kind of doing that dollar cost average, going in and saying like it feels different now. Time is not. I mean, granted, we've all said this for like a year. It's like, oh, I like the price where it is right now. 0006 seems pretty undervalued. 0004, 3, now 2. But now it's not just us. There's obviously multiple people that are going in and buying quite a bit more aggressively, partially because the price is lower, partially because people have extra money from elsewhere. I think that okay, cool. I think the people that kind of wanted to sell, a lot of them already have. The people that said, well, I'm just going to wait till it gets back to where it was and then I'm out. I feel like they don't have a ton of money. Like they don't have a ton of Omi where that's going to be a significant amount. Have you noticed anyone on the outside asking you about any type of crypto? Like people that aren't really part of Web3, like, hey, what do you know about Bitcoin?
You know what? There was a little bit of time when Bitcoin was reaching its like new all-time high past the 76,000 or whatever it was. I can't remember.
So this is the last year.
Yeah, but like honestly, recently, even though Bitcoin is like way up from its previous all-time high, right? Like last cycle near the top, right? Everyone was asking me about it and stuff, right? So retail is still not here overall. Like they're not. And maybe it's because they got burned last time, and so they're like, and it's the same mentality of like they just wait and they just wait and they just wait until it gets so high. There's been so many confirmations that they're like, now's the time. But like that's always the riskiest time to get in when all of those confirmations have been had, and I just haven't seen that happen yet. So now what was interesting though is one of my coworkers who kind of he never like necessarily gave me crap, but like he never took it really seriously. We were on this chat and he was like, he said something. He was like, oh yeah, like I got, I have this Bitcoin ETF. And I was like, oh, ha, 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 ha. And he's like, no, like I'm serious. And I was like, what are you talking about, man? Like, and I was like, what changed? So I think there are some people, but nothing like the masses really coming in. And that's where I think that we still have that chance where there's going to be a big run up. There's going to still be this big dip. And then because retail's going to jump into that run up and then they're going to panic sell in this big dip. And then it's just going to go ballistic.
Yeah. I'll go to New York Comic Con if stuff. Someone was telling me before, like, hey, what do you think about ETH now and DeCat now? Because DeCat's done like a 7x since April. And I was like, oh, listen, it just did a 7x. You could buy in now. And just same thing with the ETH. It's on that 3.5, almost 4x from its bottom. And I told him, like, over the short term, ETH can go back down to 3,300, 2,900, whatever. Over the next 6 to 12 months, I think it goes 7 to like 12K, maybe.
I think that's a decent range.
But I told him that things can just get stupid really quickly. Like they can get, and I don't know if necessarily ETH's going to do that because it's so big, but some of these altcoins that are like, I don't, have you seen anyone that's done like 100x yet? Or like, I assume you've seen like a 10x. Like, I think
I've had 100. I did a 106x on that, on the token that I was extremely bullish on, and then the founders freaking screwed up.
Oh, right? And Enter, or what is it called? Enter.
Yeah, that's funny. I can't even think of it now.
Yeah, I can't even either. Entangle,
man. What an awesome concept that they had. They were building it out, and the founders just freaking absolute morons. And this is why, listen, right? Like, you had someone on here commenting like, "Oh, the fudders were right," and I was like, "No." When I talk about the fudders, right? The fudders, it's over for Omi. Wait, hey, golf. Listen, I know Rain's not here, so I'll just I'll step in for Rain here. We'll get the shades going, But then if I get the shades, I gotta be tough. I gotta be tough, like the cop.
Get that bread.
So no, when I call fudders, it's the people that are saying like Omi is and VV are a slow rug, that the founders are scammers, all this stuff, and that's those are the fudders, the people with legitimate, concerns. I've never called them fudders. I've never blocked them. I love having conversation with them and trying to understand, like, yeah, am I missing something, right? I want to make sure I don't have blinders on. But those fudders, like those are the fudder tiers, right? Like, I mean, Paul Barron said VV was dead. 2 years ago now that he said that?
But, I mean, that guy's also paid by Animoca. Like, clearly,
I know, but regardless, right? Like, you get these people, and they're saying like it's dead, and I'm just like it's so emotional. And so when they're like, oh yeah, like the fudders were right, and I'm like, listen, there were some people that, like, I wouldn't say that they're fudders and saying like, hey, like the token could definitely go down from here. I don't call that FUD. That's not FUD to me. FUD is like, hey, like I said, VV is a dead project or slow rug. And I'm like, you have no freaking idea what you're talking about. I have experienced slow rugs and Entangle. Like, they were like, oh, we got hacked. You know what I believe happened, right? This is just my opinion. I believe that the founders freaking hacked their own wallet and dumped those tokens on to do an exit and make some money out of it, right? Like at the end. So will I ever invest in something that guy who is doxxed raises again? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can't trust him, right? So those are the people that I sit there and I say, you're fudders. It's emotional. You bought high, it dropped lower, and now you're just like, it's a rug. It's over for Omi. I believe Golf is joking there, but like, anyways, it's not over till the fat lady sings, is all I'm going to say, right? We'll wait to see how the bull run goes. And I've admitted when I was wrong before, right? Listen, people still remember, anyone who watched your channel, when that Matt Greening signature went off the homer, right, or the Bart foot, I like lost it, right? Like I was like, I can't trust this company. I went da-da-da-da-da. And then Vivi came out and they're like, hey, it was just this re-imaging thing. We were making the image look sharper and the cover covered the signature. It's still there. And the first thing that I did is I said, you know what? I was wrong. I should have waited to see what their response was first before I reacted the way I did. So what I'm saying is at the end of the day, if Omi just tanks, right, during the bull run, it does nothing. I'll be the first to say, listen, I was wrong, but I put my money where my mouth is. I believed in it, and here's why. And I will never apologize for that, right? Because I'm not telling anyone to do the same thing that I'm doing. I'm saying what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing it, right? This is my money. But people sit there and they act like they're like, well, see how this is pumped and Omi hasn't pumped. And so that's why it's over. And I'm like, you obviously don't understand crypto, man. Like things pump in cycles and narratives. And different tokens pump at different times. And honestly, like it's funny, man. Like so Supra or not Supra, what was it? Even Devi, all of these tokens will pump and Devi doesn't pump, or Devi will go down. But then all these tokens go down and then Devi pumps. It's like, what? Right? Like why does this happen? So I don't know. Anyways, I just think he says I'll never tell my name though. So Ball says, I'm actually one of the hardcore fudders. I'll never tell my name, though. Well, as long as you're not fudding on this channel, that's
so
fine.
There's actually, I want to go back to your comment about saying that you like talking with not necessarily like the fudders to say, but people that are, because you might not know what you might not be missing. Maybe they can offer a different perspective.
Yeah.
What are the percentages like? Like how many times out of 10 or 50 that they actually do give you a different perspective that is legitimate and is, hey, actually more than 50% of people or 30% of people will think like this? Because in my experience, that is almost never.
There's out of all of the fudders that out of all of the people that others call fudders, I would say 2% of that is people with legitimate concerns. 2%. But honestly, like it's like the same group of 30 to 40 people. It might not even be that many. It might be 25 people, but they're in this freaking Telegram group and they raid stuff together, right? And like all of a sudden, all of them will come on together and they'll all comment and stuff like that. And they have like multiple accounts, right? So it's not just them; it's like all of their alt accounts, right? Like with like they'll have like 30 followers, but it's just all of their other alt accounts. They all just follow each other. It's so pathetic, man. I just am like, what a life to live. But like, there are some people. Look, I look at Uncle Jeremy, right? People could call him a fudder, right? Because he's just like, when are we getting on this exchange? And this is where I say Uncle Jeremy doesn't understand crypto. He just doesn't. I think he's awesome. I think he understands business, but he obviously doesn't understand crypto, because even if it is on Coinbase and that might experience like a pump, right? And there might be like a higher low going forward. It's not going to go bananas unless there's a demand for the token. And for the demand to be there, there's got to be some sort of narrative. Now, we've talked about different things that can help create that narrative or help start that spark, right? That gets things going. But like, he's the type of person that I would sit down with and be like, okay, walk me through your process. What other tokens have you seen right now that are down bad, that get listed on Coinbase or Binance, right? And then do significant numbers. And from then on, it's just Gucci. Which ones? Or what's your reasoning behind that? Like, those are the conversations that I want to have and be like, hey, let's look at some tokens that got listed on here. You know, one of the tokens, like one of the games.
Most tokens that get listed on Binance do a hefty dump. like not even just like that day, but like months afterwards. It's usually a net negative, but people do it because the armchair CEOs and the mob kind of comes out, it's like, we want it. They pay for it. They have to give like 10% of their holdings for it. It's kind of nuts. So but I don't know why it's like common sense or common knowledge for people to want an exchange. It's because they think it'll fix everything, and clearly it won't. But
yeah, listen, and we've got our we've got our friend Adam back, and the reverse of Adam is Meta. And listen, again, even with Meta, like in Adam / right, like some of the things he posts, I would say that's a trolling futter post, right? But let's like, okay, so he was like, and listen, Adam still has very hard feelings for being called high school kid by Rain when he says that he said Omi will be at 0002. He apologized later that week for the point, any negative prediction and you get called a futter. It's the way that people present things that I would say is a futter, right? Like, so if you come on and be like, hey, like this is my reasoning why I think it could go down to 0002, that's not a futter.
I would never love to hear that, but I never hear that from the futters. I only hear that from people that make these outlandish predictions, and every now and then, like a broken clock, they are right every now and then, but it's just luck. It's not from reasoning. It's not from logic. And I haven't seen that from this person. I haven't seen that from most futters. This is why I don't talk to them, because there's no logic behind their moves or what they say. They say something because they're emotional, and they have nothing to back it up with. You say 2%. I don't even think I could say 1% of the amount of arguments that I've heard from these people that actually make sense. That's not based on emotion. Most of what they say is based on emotion. And again, sorry to interrupt you.
No. So posting facts isn't trolling. I agree. I agree with that, right? But Adam, like a lot of your posts like are trolling posts. And again, it's the way that you post that, at least that comes across as trolling. And so you could say like, hey, like I said that you should sell your Omi and buy Bitcoin. And look, I was right. Like, cool, man. Like, and I never called you a high school kid, right? Like I didn't do any of that. I don't agree with some of the comments that you make here. And I always back up my answers or responses with logic as to why I feel the way I feel. Now, what I didn't know at the time, there were several things that I didn't know during this time. I didn't know that with the VV lawsuit, that basically Ecomi and the founders were not allowed to talk about the token because they could not be seen to be manipulating the price in any way, shape, or form, or that could impact the lawsuit. For freaking 4 years, that's what happened. Right now, I thought that it was more along the lines of they didn't want to target on their back to the SEC because they had all these connections with major IP, and Gary Gensler was going after Kim Kardashian. He was going, like, if he could make a splash, right? If the news could say, like, you know, company partnered with Disney, like gets slapped with the SEC fines, or, you know, like gets a Wells notice or something. I could absolutely have seen Gary Gensler doing something like that, right? I didn't know those things going forward. So, I mean, at that time, right? And if I'd been like, man, they're not going to be able to talk about the token at all, this is a lot riskier play. Did I know it was going to go down to 0002? No, or else I wouldn't have bought in at 0007 and 0005 and 0004. Right? I would have waited.
And that's the point. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. I mean, at least not consistently. And I understand that in the short term, again, DeCat is up 7x since April. Omi's either flat or down. Does that mean that DeCat is I mean, short term, yeah, it was a better investment for that time. But over the long term, I don't expect that to keep up at all. So you can cherry pick pieces of data and say, well, from this date to this date, I was right and you were wrong. And yes, you are correct from that date to that date. But over that long enough timeline, I'm going to trust me over someone that can be perceived as trolling, that will never give their own name. Like I feel like a lot of other people that kind of troll kind of do so with no consequences. Whereas what I say has all the consequences because I'm fully doxxed.
So let me just address this one thing here.
Yeah.
So Matt, Meta, Adam, I can't remember a lot of the other names that you used. It's still TBD, man. Until this bull run is over, it's still TBD. That's all I'm going to say, right? Because again, there were people that were like, Cardano when it was at 70 cents, and people could have said, "Hey, sell your car for Cardano at 70 cents," right? And then it dropped all the way down to like, was it like 4 cents? And people could have said, "You know what? Look at you're down 95% on this. You're an idiot, right?" But then during the bull run, Cardano got to $3.50. So if they had sold their car at 70 cents and held that whole time and then gone, they would have tripled their money. Now, could they have sold it at 70 cents, right? And then bought something else and made gains there and then bought in at a lower price? Sure. All I know is this. In the last cycle, I saw a lot of people that they were chasing those gains. They were like, hey, I think that this token is going to go down. Even though I believe in this token, I'll buy back in. I'll buy back into this token when it gets down. And then they didn't do it. And then they were like, oh my gosh, the token, if I would have just held, it went at 200x. It did a 200x. And like if I would have just held, but like I was chasing these gains, right? So again, you can pick points in time. Like this is like you're right, Adam, with this one. So you said quadruple zero Omi, and we're almost there. We'll see if it hits that, and you could be great on that prediction. I would love to see some of your other predictions.
I would love to see what that logic was based on.
Yeah. Like, so anyways, these are good conversations. I don't mind. I think it's so important to have these types of conversations. So you predicted 4 zeros back in 2022. Why? What led you to believe that it could get all the way down to 4 zeros? And what was your time frame on that, right? Because again, I think that's also important. Because if you're like, oh, well, it's 4 zeros back in 2022, well, it definitely wasn't 4 zeros in 2023, right? So people could have sat there and said, hey, you're wrong. But now, and technically you're still wrong, right? Because it's never gotten there. So this is the thing. I think that people, because we're on the YouTube channel, we're easy targets, and that's fine, right? We sit there and talk, and it's funny because we're just saying what we're doing with our own money. Would Randy, if he had a car, sold his car, bought more Omi at the time he told us to do that, he would have. He would have. Look what he's doing. Look how much Omi he's still buying, right? So, like, this is a difference between someone like, Crypto Lark, right? Who freaking he was getting paid all of these, like, to talk about these tokens in the token and then dumping it on his followers as he's talking about it. That's the type of crap that we need to get rid of. If you get a YouTuber who sits there and says, hey, this is what I believe, I would sell my car for it, and they want to do that, and that's something that they're doing. This is where people need to take responsibility for their own actions. And but like, yeah, you can sit there and say, hey, like, look, like I said, quadruple zero, and we're almost there. Well, we're not there. And so you're not technically right either. But were you right about selling Omi to buy Bitcoin like back then? 100%. And I hope that you did that and that you made money, right? And that's the greatness of this space, is we all get to do this. And so, Adam, man, start a YouTube channel. Start talking about this stuff, right? But I promise you, as you start to do that, you're going to be wrong on some of your predictions, and then you're going to have people just like you coming on with 14 different surnames or whatever, different names, and they're going to be trolling you and saying, you wreck these people and how dare you, right? Like I don't know what to say. We're imperfect, but we're just talking about the things that we like, that we're passionate about, and we're putting our money where our mouth is. I think that's the most that you could ask from a YouTuber.
Speaking of putting stuff where your mouth is, I feel like words are being put in my mouth, because if you wind the tapes back like 2 minutes ago, I did not say, I said some of the things that you mentioned can seem troll-like, because they can definitely be construed. I never said you are 100% of a troll, at least not in this conversation. I probably said that before, just because of how you come off. One of the other things, Sean says, we were promised so many things. There was something else that he had mentioned before, saying, at what point do we hold BB accountable for all their lies? I assume this is why other, like Foster and O'Malley, had blocked you, is because are they lies, or are they like, hey, here's what we want to do, and then X amount of months later, here's why it didn't happen. And I understand that sometimes people need that to be explained to. This is why I have no kids. I do not have the patience for that. I don't. Doc, help me out here because I'm kind of
yeah. So Uno Sean, I like Uno Sean, and he is in the group in what's his name's group that I've had some bouts with. That launched the Santa Claus token and did the Chuck to a Buck token. I can't remember. It'll come to me in a second. I don't know. I'm having a brain fart. And there's this group. What's that? Was it Pumpa Claus?
I remember. Was that a rug?
It didn't pan out for a lot of people, but like I wouldn't call it a rug. I don't think a rug is when it's intentionally they pull the liquidity and they screw it. I don't think that happened with Chuck to a Buck or the Chuck token or Pumpa Claus. I don't think so. Like it was just there. Ron's Cryptotherapy, right? So Uno Sean is in Danny DeBoll and Ron Cryptotherapy's group, and there's a special little like chat that they have where they talk shit on VV and some of this stuff. And this is what this is what I'll say. You get into those groups and it becomes an echo chamber, and you can also have an echo chamber on the other side, right? Where it's only positive. That's not healthy. That's not good for anyone on either side, right? But this is why I call it an echo chamber, Uno Sean. When you say all of the lies, okay, interoperability. That was one of the biggest things, right? I threw in a lot of money at the time when they were promising interoperability. And I thought it was going to happen. And I believe at the time that they also thought that it was a possibility. And as they went to present it to IP, and Disney held the reins at that time, right? Disney is what brought in a lot of people. Marvel and Disney is what brought in a lot of people to VV. And so they had to listen. And Disney was probably like, we don't like the idea of self-custody because number one, the royalty issue. And then number two, like we're concerned about our IP being next to certain other IPs that are out there on OpenSea. We don't want Mickey Mouse next to some like nude NFT art project or something like that. Right. And I think that those discussions happened. And then they had to pull away from that. These are the types of things. But then like what else was considered a lie for the longest time, right? Was cash out. They're liars. We're never going to get cash out. Well, we got cash out. Like there's so many things that like, so I guess that's what, unfortunately, a lot of times there can be people with good reasons behind it, but the way they present it, it's just like an automatic shutdown for me. Where I'm like, I can't even engage because all you're doing is you're calling them liars without sitting there and looking at what was happening in the space at the time. And people would be like, well, other projects did this. And I'm like, yeah. And a lot of those projects, what was that project with Tom Bilyeu, this massive NFT project that basically got targeted by the SEC? They got a Wells notice, shut down. People lost millions of dollars, right, because of that. And people don't like to point to that. Like I don't know what else to say, right? But I'm like, here's a perfect example of why they have to be careful about how they talk about things. Why they have to be careful about not doing. For example, another lie. This one, like what I'm thinking of as I say this was the buyback and burns, and they're like that was a lie. You know what? They were. I truly believe they were absolutely going to do that, and in fact, I think that they had started to do that. But then the SEC started going after all of these projects, and the buyback and burns. I'm telling you, absolutely puts Omi in the realm of security. And if they talked to any lawyer worth his salt in the space, that lawyer would have said, you got to stop that right now. That puts such a big target on your back. And yet they were called liars for doing that. It's like, no, unfortunately, what happened is the space changed. The regulators decided to enforce things where they hadn't been before. And if people aren't educated about that, right, and then they just start calling them liars and liars, that's where I have a problem in saying, okay, but that's not what happened. If you look at the timing of when these things happen, right? So Uno Sean, I really like you. I respect you, man. But again, I think that you were in a very negative echo chamber there, and that's fine. And I hope that you succeed, right? People can have their feelings. I'm not going to try to talk them out of it, But what I do try to point out is that when it says all of their lies, I would say, give me an example where you can prove that something was an absolute lie. Do that, right? And then I can point out in that same scenario potential issues that were happening around that time that would be legitimate reasons why things shifted or changed.
This is why Doc is the best of us, and Doc needs to do more videos and live streams because partially because I've answered a lot of these questions already multiple times, and that's why I'm a little bit short with people. But also because you explain it in a much more eloquent way, take the time, break it down point by point. Because like I guess like a parent or like a teacher answers the same questions over and over again. I just get very bored with that. And I'm so thank you for being here. Thank you for doing that. And maybe people need to hear it from somebody else as opposed to just me. Sometimes when people learn things, they don't learn one way, they learn another. So again, appreciate that. Chosen Sounds Like View is already done. They did 1.4, I think, billion secondary, but that's over the last half a decade. And most of that in 21, 22. Very triggered, not sure why. Again, why I was short is just because this is great for especially people that are just coming here. That is like, hey, what's going on? This is the only Omi show that I see. They get to like, this is good for them. I feel like at this point in my YouTube career and at like this, I'm getting towards the summer of it, towards the fall, whatever you want to call it. I am not doing this forever. I am, once this bull market is over, I am done for quite a number of years. And it's just generally not how I want to spend my time. Obviously, I always want to spend time with Doc. I will walk on glass with Doc. That is how much I want to spend time with him, always and forever. No homo. He was a little homo. But it's just it's just a lot of these stuff that I've gone over just over and over again. It's just like it's like earblood to me. It's like nails on chalkboard. Better giving Doc some flowers there, saying if everyone in your circle was open as you and not as quick to criticize, the space would be 100% better. I agree. Let me just say this too, Matt. Like, I'll also say that there are some people that, like, I mean, I've gotten fed up with some people out there. What are their names? There's like Nodes is one, and this other guy, because like they just go on. And here's the thing: is like, I can't even tell you the amount of times that I've just gotten personally attacked, right? In some of these debates, right? Where they just go after you personally. I will never tolerate that shit. Never. And no one should tolerate that. So if you guys are, and it's funny, right? Because then these people are just like, oh, you know, they're blocking me because, you know, like they're trying to dump their bags on you. They're trying to use you as exit liquidity. And I'm like, the fact that you obviously don't even know me. You haven't watched my YouTube channel. You haven't seen these interactions because, again, I love the conversation and I will absolutely hold that. But Sean, to kind of Randy's point, like there is a point in which you're just like, I think I'm just done. I think I'm just done, right? Like I can't, like you get this threshold. And that's like, I used to not block any of the quote unquote fudders, right? And I would have those conversations, but I'm to the point now where I'm just like, it's not worth my time. Now, again, I respect you, Sean. I've had interactions with you before. I've had good interactions with Adam. I see Adam. In fact, Adam, we need to play chess sometime. I see you on in the VV Discord in the chess section there, right? Crushing those daily activities. But like, so man, life is short. I went through a lot of shit this year. Worst year of my life, hands down, worst year of my life. And I just realized that life is short and it's not worth interacting with people who are just going to treat you like shit or aren't willing to have those conversations, like, and just be real about things. But like I said, like, are there certain things that like I'm frustrated about VV about? Absolutely. And I will never say that that's not that's not okay. I think that's important. But also realizing that no company is perfect. You know what I mean? Like, and I love what VV is doing. I love the IP that they're getting. I love the collectibles look so amazing now. Like the quality has improved drastically. There is this positive sentiment. Shout out to Crypto Cosmo. Shout out to VV Viral.
shout out to Randy and a lot of these other people and Foster, who's just engaging more or posting more. And this family is getting excited about that. Like, I love that. But again, guys, I appreciate like calling things out and saying, hey, we're frustrated about this. But comments like all of the lies, they're scammers, it's a slow rug. That's the stuff that automatically just, you lose so much credibility in my eyes that I'm like, it's not even worth having the conversation, because those statements are emotional and they're not backed by facts. Now, we could point out some things that like, hey, this hasn't happened yet, but I believe that they're going to work out a solution where there will be some sort of interoperability, They just have to be able to ensure royalties. Once that happens, I think that Disney and these other companies will sign off on that. So we'll see, man.
Agreed. I'm going to echo Doc's call for saying like life is short, and I work from the time I get up till the time I go to bed. There is no rest, and I just, again, so Uno Sean, like I do not have you blocked on X, but I just X searched you real quick, and over the last couple months I just saw like two people, like I won't call them out, but there was two people that you had interacted with that's like, oh, hey, these are people I know I've blocked, and I know it's for spreading lies. And as soon as I see someone saying like, hey, this, these lies that what VV sound like, I either think that you are just a troll or fudder, which you may not be, which Doc says he seems to respect you. But then I go on your X and it's like, okay, he's replying to these people that I've blocked that are known liars, and it's just the company that you keep that I'm just going to associate with that, even if you're not. And again, I'm not saying that you keep that company. You talk to them all the time. It just happens to be who you replied to. And also, I don't get to talk to my friends. Like I do as often as I can, and I have to be very careful. I have to choose who to respond to and who to talk to and who to like push off to another day. And unfortunately, that other day just sometimes never comes. So if I have to do that to my friends, you can be damn sure I'm not going to associate with anyone that is going to be a net negative for me or is going to be a waste of time for me. So again, I haven't blocked you on X. I guess because you never gave me a reason to. I hope that we can have productive conversations in the future. Turtle saying one key question will be, how will Stacker advertise and incentivize using their platform over the ease of VV mobile app? It's a good question. And they also have to play this game of balance there. Like, they can't make it too easy to be on Stacker, because then it'll, if you're just using Stacker and not VV, then that takes away from VV's active users, that takes away from their numbers. I guess that would be a good problem to have. Advertising would be similar to what they did on, and I don't know how much Dr. Profit even really cares about Stacker's daily numbers. I think he really just did this because he's got the most Omi in like the world, and spending a couple $1 million, however much he has on this, in order to get Omi to pump 50, 100x, probably going to do it. So I don't know how much it's. I think originally this was done just so that VV didn't have to suffer the same fate as Dapper Labs, paying those X amount of millions of dollars for having that enclosed ecosystem. Fortunately / unfortunately, like, the regulations have changed. Stacker's nice, it's fun. It would be easier, I think, now, if this were to wind the clocks back a few years, they would just build it into VV. Hey, now you can send USDC to VV. Like, it already gives you an Omi wallet, a gem wallet, an NFT wallet. They could just add to that wallet. But now, like, they've done so much on it so far, it's like, okay, might as well build it out. I mean, the incentives are already there. Of you tend to get things cheaper. You don't have to pay cash out for the people that are looking to sell. And the thing I think it really needs is just the bridging option to get better, because you can never really bridge more than 30 million Omi at a time. And also it sponsors the gas fees, which is great, but it also still uses, I don't know if it's 1 inch, whatever liquidity pool it uses, that liquidity is god awful. And they really need to add that in, and maybe they're waiting for an exchange. I don't know what they're waiting for, but if they, like, one of my favorite things to do is go over to the cat on Gecko Terminal and show the $600,000 in locked liquidity that's there, and show how it's just destroying all the other tokens that sponsor the channel, all the other tokens that are out there. If Stacker or if that Stacker can do that, so like, hey, we have this liquidity pool with 200, 400K locked liquidity, that is going to be such a bullish marketing team for them. Because right now, you could have $1 million worth of Omi. Good luck trying to cash that out. If you have a liquidity pool with hundreds of thousands of dollars in there, especially if it's locked, then that's one of the big things that's going to have other people feel more comfortable about buying large amounts. Because VV lost this like $300,000 buy of Omi because there was no liquidity. And we tried to get an OTC deal done. It didn't happen. But that's one of the things I think they could do. Doc, correct me if I'm wrong on any of those things, or definitely add your own 2 cents, please.
To the OTC deal, or
to the what can Stacker Stacker advertise and some
yeah. So first of all, shout out to Turtle. I freaking love Turtle.
Yeah, he's my hero.
You're the man, dude. Like, if you haven't met Turtle in real life, this guy is just an incredible human being. So I just gotta shout you out first and foremost, man. So how will Stacker advertise? Listen, I think that Stacker has bigger plans than just VV. I think that it wants to, I swear Dr. Prophet has said, right, like that he's like, I'd love to see Bored Apes next to VVIP, right? Like they are a marketplace. And so I think that if they can get some of these other major IPs or NFT brands to also sell on Stacker, that in and of itself will bring people to Stacker and advertise for VV. So I think that would be a big deal. I'm gonna take a different stance than Randy on drawing people away from VV, because the drops will always happen on VV. So you're going to get the active users. If VV can make sure that their drops are good, and we talked about the different mechanics and the different mint sizes and all the different ways that they can improve that so that there is value to the collectors, I think they will continue to get more and more users that way. But then there's an incentive, and one of the incentives is already there, Turtle, with the cash out fee. If you're on VV and Gems, you've got that 10% cash out fee. That 10% fee is not there on Stacker. So that's huge. Now, could they make that a bigger deal? Could they talk more about that? Sure. But right now, there's just not enough volume. I think the Stacker needs to get some of, if they can get some more major IP on there, NFT IP, like Bored Apes, like other, all the whole Bored Ape ecosystem, Doodles, any of these Moonbirds, any of that stuff, right? If they could get that and have those on the marketplace where people were listing it there as well, I think that would be a very big deal for Stacker. And then they would have more fees, which could generate the revenue they need to use marketing dollars. I don't know how much marketing dollars they're getting, with these transactions. That's one of the things that's kind of tough, right? Is you don't get to see the financial condition of any of these projects, like where they're at. And that's another reason why I get pissed about things a slow rug, or like it is a rug. I'm like, again, man, I've invested in projects with this idea, and it pisses me off, because I'm like, if you had just run with this idea and actually built it out, you would have made so much more money. But instead, you burn your reputation for life in this space, right? Because what happens is, all of a sudden you start paying yourself this massive salary so that you can buy a Lambo, and you're all of a sudden you're taking pictures in Dubai with all this stuff, and then your project gets run into the ground, and it's just like, oh yeah, it just didn't work out, and it's like, no, you didn't actually spend the money on that. You just spend all of our money. And then VV is building out a legitimate product that I love. I love these collectibles. I'm on the aftermarket. I'm definitely going to buy a Buzz Lightyear. I don't want to go for the drop. I don't like the drop mechanics, which means that I'm going to be able to get an animated Buzz Lightyear for less than $20. And I'm going to take photos and videos of it with my kids because they'll freaking love it, But do I wish that VV would kind of look at that and talk to their IP and say, hey, you know what? Things have kind of changed in this space. Things aren't working the way. And I think that they have to a certain extent. The prices are coming down on certain things. Again, I like when they have these editions where it's maybe it is the common, just a rare, and then the secret rare. So the chances of hitting something are a lot bigger. Then maybe I'm willing to pay a higher price. But the ultimate goal is they need to add value to the people that are here in some way, shape, or form. And some of the way they add value is just the collectibles are more fun to interact with. That's great, but like edition sizes matter, and the number of like rarities and stuff also matter. And I think that they got to kind of tone that down until they can get some more users, because you'll draw in more users as people make money, and then as people are making money and there's more users, you can increase the edition size, which then brings you more profits. Like, I don't know how else to explain that. I can't explain that any better than that. So,
yeah. Agreed, sir. Preach. We're at that 2-hour mark. Anything you want to talk about before we bounce and talk off camera a bit?
No, you and I, we got to talk. We got to talk about that thing.
Oh, yes, we do. All right. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashy. Bye-bye, Dashy. We love you all. Classes.
Hey, family, I was just stepping in with Rain with the glasses because I love golf. I always comments on Rain's glasses, and he was there on my channel.